part of preparing for survival mode, I guess here is we want to talk about getting settlements done. So after you've dealt with most of the Commonwealth, you have this large open expanse you have to deal with that you want to prepare for the survival mode in the game. You're going to notice some large cities built here in some of the different settlements. This one's actually Starlight Drive-In. Yep, Starlight Drive-In there. And some of these larger builds were utilized in order to kind of expand the gameplay. Once you're done, defeating the Institute, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, or whoever you sought to kind of put down in your march to power, it's time to turn the Minutemen and some of your settlements into something that's actually functional. So at this point in gameplay, what we're looking to do is turn our large settlements into functional areas for survival mode. None of this was built using mods. We did this all using basically the water pump system, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, to make money, and then using that to start trade routes and things like that. Going to places like Drumlin Diner, which you may know as a trade post. I'm going to mark that here and show that up on the map. So if you had Drumlin Diner, which I'm right here next to and stuff, you may have run into Carla and another trader, depending on if you sided with the lady and her son. Or whether or not you sided with the lady that runs Drumlin Diner and stuff. So you got some traders here. But I guess the point that I'm going to make is that we have to get water pumps going early in our game. Whether it's later in your game and you're just now starting to develop your settlements, or whether you just started your game and you're just starting Fallout. Even if you don't have the expansion packs, an important thing to remember is that you want to get generators built along the shore of Sanctuary, and as many water pumps as you can. It looks like that's one of our trade groups. I don't know who that cow belongs to, but it's Pack Brahmin, so we're going to keep moving here. So I'm actually at this point headed towards Sanctuary. To give you an idea of what we're trying to do here in survival mode. I'm not currently in survival mode at this point. That would actually prevent me from fast traveling, and I wouldn't be able to do some of the build things that I need to do to show you in these videos, so we're going to hold off on going to survival mode at this point. Looks like we're coming up on the side of Abernathy Farm right now, and this is a area that's still in construction. As you can see, some of these larger kind of city builds are kind of labor intensive and take a lot of time. So if you got the Wasteland Workshop expansion pack, you should have the ability to use concrete, which you're going to see utilized in almost all of the builds. It's really important, in my opinion, for defense and some of the larger build and constructions we have to do. Coming up here on the side, you're also going to see kind of a base shell of the Nuka-Cola. Sorry, not Nuka-Cola, that's the Red Rocket gas station right there near Sanctuary. And that's coming up right now, and that's still also under construction. Although one place that is not under construction currently, and we did get completely finished, was the Sanctuary build. So we're going to go on a quick tour if you haven't seen the Sanctuary build here yet. This is the rebuilt Sanctuary. So taking all the expansion packs, including the Automatron expansion pack, Wasteland Workshop, and Wasteland Contraptions expansion packs, oh, and the Vault Tech expansion packs for reactors, we're able to construct this large city. And if anybody remembers, we're coming over the bridge right now into Sanctuary. You're going to see a lot of high security areas and stuff like that, and we're going to talk about some of the implementations of security and how to kind of wire some of this, because it's a little more complicated. So we got a laser grid here, activates when intruders come in, obviously. This is Ada, one of the units you'll get, also an NPC companion available if you have the expansion pack.
I'll be back later.
Very well, sir.
Ada is a custom-built robot, so you can build her using the parts from different robots you find throughout the game that are available in the Automatron expansion pack. So we're going to head this way into the city. I guess one of the first things we want to cover here, if you haven't seen this already, obviously we have a large shopping center here, which is the traffic stop. All the shops in there do function, so if you have the local leader perk, you can start building shops and stuff like that. We'll cover that here in a minute. I think that's a nod to, what game was that? Millen's Remember Me. French game. Wonderful game. I don't remember what that was a reference to.
So where are we off to
so even along these outer areas of the wall, you're going to notice we kind of utilized a thicker, kind of like double grid security wall. This allowed me to put in a lot of water purifier systems. So you're going to see these water purifier systems. This started out obviously as a very rough line of generators along the waterfront, and then I just connected as many of the water pumps as I could. It took me a while to get my science up to get some of these larger water pumps that you're looking at here. But the point is, these will then produce purified water minus the amount of people in your city every day. Now, these bottled water are pretty much the way we utilized and allowed me to buy the money to build this this city that we're going through here in Sanctuary. This is an outer section perimeter of the wall, which actually is right below the entrance we walked into. It's a little hidey hole of mine. If you'll notice, we got a few little goodies here just in case of emergency, and this is all, as I said, in preparation for survival mode. In survival mode, you can get bacterial infections, as you may know, from drinking the water, contaminated food. If you have a cannibalism perk and end up eating people, you can get some other interesting rare diseases, so look out for that. So as we go through the outer perimeter, this is, as I said, Sanctuary's outer perimeter wall, and we got a lot of these electronic locks you're going to see through here. Utilized a lot of these with the Wasteland Workshop and the contraption set. So a lot of these allowed me to have a really, robust security system. Since the city was built, there was only one single attack. We had it with ghouls, ironically, because one section of the wall wasn't completed on the side. And so we did actually have some ghouls running here at some point. You actually still see their bodies, I believe, littered in the streets in some of the areas near the larger buildings.
Maybe I'll get another drink.
Okay, so let's cover some things here. We're going to go to the traffic stop. So this is important to note. When you're building a city and you've got your water going well, you're going to want to make sure that you have the ability to have commerce. So I'm going to mark the perk here in your perk lines. And what you're going to need is something called the local leader perk. Where is he? Right down here. Okay, so this one's important. You can build stores and workstations at workshop settlements. This allows us to really kind of change the dynamics of how our workshops work. So here we have a bar on the lower level of the traffic stop.
Hey there.
What can I get you?
And much like in Diamond City,
see what
she
you have.
functions
Let me know what you like.
a unique trader selling food and varying items like that we can buy. This is important in survival mode, as you need to stay fed and well hydrated through your travels. So it's important to have a bar in most of your settlements. A doctor. Having a clinic is important as well. Doctors will both treat and cure diseases as well as sell you stim packs and other medication. So I think here in the back here we have, there's actually a surgeon. I believe that guy actually glitching there through the wall is supposed to be the surgeon right now. And I'm not sure what time it is. Is everybody off of work? It looks like it is 7:58. So everybody just got off of work, which is why
Farming's as honest
I'm not going to have, there's our doctor.
If you need fixing up, let's get a look at you.
But we don't need to get anything
Not right
now.
Fine.
I'm going to go upstairs. Here we have our weapon and armor shop. I have two ladies here running this shop. I have a little apartment set back here, which I separated using just metal paneling. I don't want to say it's one of my prettier builds, but, they did get a kitchenette and a bathroom. So, okay, so another cool thing one of the expansion packs added was running water. So if you actually had purified water in your town and you're in survival mode, you can use things like these sinks and drinking fountains to actually hydrate your character, which are simply and easily installed with simply steel. I think it's like 5 steel. Actually, let's check real quick. So if you were going to install some of these, I believe these are under furniture and miscellaneous. So just go through the miscellaneous. You're going to see some things here from Far Harbor, some fish racks and things like that as we go through. And here you'll notice at the very end, this is actually due to the expansion packs. I'm not sure if this is Vault Tech. I believe this is the Vault Tech stuff. Adds in these clean water units and stuff. And if you look at them, 3 steel, 3 steel, 3 steel. Very cheap, easy to put in. So kind of a cool thing. Easily allows you to hydrate your character in survival mode. So kind of cool. We have a general store and clothing. So the idea here is to create a community that is equal to Diamond City. Now we're going to want to establish cities like this all across the Commonwealth, and I have actually done that in some of these, so I'll show you some of those at some points. Alright, you know, before we get to the vault and some of our other technical marvels, let's cover water. So as we head outside, you're going to see the back side of the wall here, and this is that outer security checkpoint. We did add in electronic sliding gates and locks down here. You'll kind of see down, looking down there and stuff that separates it. And then we have the rest of the water purification system. So powering this was, as you can imagine, a nightmare. It had to be done in sections, as we couldn't complete the wall all at once. You couldn't put everything down. I mean, you know, that's an incredible amount of money. And if you're not using mods, you kind of have to build off your stuff. So I did end up having to build these power substations. This was available through the, I want to say this was a Vault Tech Workshop. And these are fission generators, which allowed me to put 100 power each. So this is 400 power right now. And this runs the front half section of the town. Security also, let's talk about that. Security, so this entire area, as you'll notice, has a lot of electronic sliding doors. Not only are these fun things, you know, impenetrable and bulletproof, but I actually have a centralized computer unit that actually runs security for the whole town, so I can actually open and close all these or lock the city down at any point, which is just kind of fun, as long as you have it on a singular connected grid, which I did do. So over here, I'm going to talk about one of the later expansions of the generator stuff. This requires you to actually do the entire Vault Tech expansion pack, which I don't want to talk about or cover too much right now. But once you finish the Vault Tech expansion pack, you will get a ability to build a nuclear generator, which this has 500 power. Hey, look, we have a light that's not running. That bothers me. And this really kind of, if you've got to install one of these in your city, that really kind of, well, that's glitchy, really kind of adds the power a lot. You know, bug me, whatever, no big deal. Okay, so kind of a glitchy build here. This was early on. Didn't really get to wall it off properly in a vault. I will talk about the Vault Tech expansion pack and building your own vault later in probably some of my later videos. Right now my vault is actually going pretty well, but it is still under construction, so we're not going to show you that stuff yet. Okay, so let's move on. Obviously getting the water to flow through the city, that was a fun challenge. Getting the power grid to run to all the buildings and connect was also a fun challenge. So, so as you can probably guess, I did beat my game, and we're going to go explore something real quick for those of you that have gotten to the end of your gameplay. So, for some of you, you may recognize the item here we're coming up on. If you've beaten the game, you're going to recognize what this large device is. Funny thing is, as you know, I did complete my game, and I still have one that functions. So note to you that are playing your game or getting through your gameplay for the first time, if you start constructing a device that looks similar to this large temporal shifting, I'm not sure how to describe it, we're just going to say it's part of the storyline. If you build two at once before you implement the first one, you'll have enough parts when you're done to rebuild a second one, which will function. Important for survival mode, as you know, teleportation is kind of a hard thing to deal with. So, did get one of these units and saved it and kept it for myself. So just keep in mind you can do that. It's like we're in the middle of a rad storm. Okay, so alright, since we're going to loop around here some of the buildings and we're coming from the back side here, we're going to cover Sable Cove Medical Detention Facility. A completely, I want to note, unnecessary build, but more of one of the experimental things we wanted to do. So this is one of the Automatron robot workbenches, which will allow you to construct your own robots. As you'll see, there's actually a fair list of units right here that are already in the city. I do like robots since I don't have to feed them, they don't sleep, and I can still get them pick my vegetables and things like that, as well as defend targets like this Jezebel unit here. So I'm going to move up, and this is Sable Cove Medical Detention Facility. As you can imagine, this place acts as a sort of police station. It was really more of a fun build. Again, I wanted to say completely unnecessary to build a detention facility, since in the Commonwealth I can't really imagine marching a prisoner in here as opposed to shooting them, right? So, alright, let's, this is tank 4, kind of the dark tank. I'm going to lock myself in here. It's kind of an interesting thing. So we will cover the human experimentation labs later, but there was, at some point, we figured, at least explanatory-wise, a need to get rid of people in society that, you know, were causing us problems, so to speak. So this was added in so that, you know, the body parts and things could be disposed of. We will cover, as I said, the human experimentation labs before we leave this area. Kind of a fancy name for what it is, but there was a need, obviously, to be able to test weaponry and things like that. And some of you may know about some of the traps and cages system, so that was utilized here. Along the outer walls of these buildings, actually, most sections of the wall were utilized. Boy, that's random. I don't like that. I'm going to take that out. Were utilized to build things like apartments and stuff like that. So even when you come to these outer sections of wall, a lot of these are actually small living quarters that actually have people. This is actually a guard unit, believe it or not, using part of the Vault-Tec expansion pack.
The farm's not much, but it's something.
Every time they say that, I just shake my head. I'm like, okay, really? Alright, so we're going to move on. Okay, so we've covered the disposal stuff. I want to say, though, the logistical nightmare of doing this upcoming build was literally the worst, which is why we leave it for last. The vault that I built. Obviously, as you can see, it has a stretching sky walkway. Inside the vault, I also built a functional elevator. And because of the way the elevator was set in the Contraptions Workshop build, I think it was, it doesn't line up evenly with the concrete blocks or wood or steel or really anything, because it's got a slight incremental change here. So this is the back door. This is the only exit to the city that is, you know, it's actually a security post. There's actually a guy right up there guarding the unit, and a small exit area here if you really wanted to try and come through this back door. But the point is, we've never had any ghouls, bandits, or anybody make it that far. Sewer mutants or anything. So, I'm going to go through here, and this shows you the exit of the sky walkway to the other building. This place was pretty much billed as housing, real simple, really not very aesthetic here, but just a simple little place for people to kind of bathe and shower and stay when they're not staying in some of the other buildings that are around town. A lot of people have apartments now, but in the beginning we had to have staff. You'll notice 2 people here on artillery, so I can use the artillery, and you'll notice they're in hazmat suits so they don't take radiation damage while they're outside. I've never actually had a person die of radiation damage. I'm not sure what the game has set for effects on people, but I always figure kind of better safe than sorry, so. Okay, let's go into the last section of Sanctuary, the vault. Oh, here's those ghouls I was talking about earlier that had attacked a long time ago. Lovely. Still can't get rid of the bodies. This was simply an excuse. The Lost Road Motel, which was just simply a little 2-house revamp, was literally nothing more than an excuse to have bedding in the town as well, as you can probably imagine. You know. Okay.
All systems are
Vault
go,
01.
Would you like me to go with you?
Yeah, we're gonna go inside here. This vault door, big surprise from the Vault-Tec expansion packs. I don't think that really surprises anybody right now. Right? Okay. So we're going to go inside, and this is the lower entry level. It's supposed to be kind of a welcoming or waiting area for people. So people do utilize it. There's some, you can cook in here. This is actually a workshop cooking stove and some other stuff. So sometimes people will end up in here kind of hanging out. So we're going to, this is glitchy, but this is Data. Actually did give him missile launcher arms. Note to anybody using the Automatron expansion pack, if you do give them something like that, you do have to equip them with missiles, so Data's actually carrying a whole lot of missiles and rockets right now. Okay, let's go in the elevator here. We're going to go up to level 2, which is technically, I guess, the heart of the facility. This, as you can imagine, is actually the back exit door, which leads to the sky kind of walkway over here. I did actually have windows put in here at one point, and then had vertibirds fly over, because I'm not allied with Brotherhood of Steel, and decided better solid concrete, bulletproof and all. Okay, so before we get into the workshop area, this is a expansion. This is the reactor core. and I did build my own super reactor inside my building in case power for the rest of the city was lost. So I did kind of create a panic room that could sustain me, I guess you could say, with a few little odds and ends, along with a computer grid, the Vault-Tec Population Management System, available through the Vault-Tec Expansion Pack. And this should actually be hooking up to some of the laser units, but it's not right now, so I'll let it load. Another one of the automatron build packages, and this is just simply a small section of my panic room, which apparently someone's using. It's a smoking area and not meant to have people in it.
Can't talk now.
How rude. I don't even know how you got. I'm half tempted to lock you in this room, sir. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, but the point still stands. Okay, so we're going to go down here, and I do want to cover the rest of level 2 real quick. And this is obviously the workshop for the power armor that is being worked on currently here at this facility. I think this is some T-51 being worked on right now. And here's some of the power armor units we'll cover. This is the classic, I believe, T-60
could really use a
BOS. Is that Valentine? You know, you guys know this is a secure area, right? Oh, forget it. Tesla armor. It's available through the Automatron expansion pack. There's a slight increase to your energy weapons. Kind of fun. Power horse. This is the Giddy Up Buttercup power armor. Higher jumping, faster running. Available through the Creation Club. So that's actually a little Bethesda add-on. You got the T-45, a classic, a goodie and an oldie, easy to work on and cheap to repair. So I suggest a lot of people, when you're using your first set of power armor, either go with Bandit or the T-45. This is the T-51 with posonucleic power armor, available through the Cambridge mission. If anybody went and saw the little iBots flying around that wanted you to go to Cambridge Labs and you get trapped in there, well, the reward for it is the posonucleic power armor, which increases your power depending on how much rads you take. So kind of like a fun little addition to the T-51 system. This is a T-60, just like the Brother of Steel, but this is actually painted for the Atomicats. If you haven't met those hipsters from the corner of the coast, I suggest you visit the Atomicats garage and make friends.
You just say the word.
We got the XO1 Chrome Mach 6. This is obviously by far the most superior and elite of the units. It's got a jetpack on it. It flies. It's got tactical recon goggles. Pretty fancy system, if I do say so myself, but very expensive to maintain and repair. So we don't use it a lot. This is the, let's see here, Nuka-Cola power armor, available through the Nuka-Cola World expansion pack. We got the neat little spray painted, I don't even know what you would call those images, I guess. And then we have the Nuka-Cola Quantum XO5, I guess it's an XO5, which is available through the Nuka-Cola expansion pack as well. This requires you to do one of the horrible side quests and go find all the star cores, which is just freaking a nightmare. And this is the Vim Power Armor, available through the Far Harbor expansion pack. I think this one's probably my favorite because of kind of like the spray-painted imagery on it. Just really like it. It's got a stealth voice. When you kneel down, you go invisible. Love that. Okay, so let's go upstairs. And we're going to cover the human experimentation. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to my penthouse. We'll cover level 3 in a minute. Alright. Okay, so this is a radiation arch, available under electrical and miscellaneous. If you got all your contraptions functioning, this might be part of the Vault-Tec expansion pack. Love this thing. Removes radiation instantly when you walk through it, as long as it's powered. So, really, really handy device to have. I leave mine on all the time because obviously power is not a problem. So, hi, dog meat. So, dog meat's armored up and ready for action. Got my little kitchenette here with a nice stockpile of, I would say, you know, things ready to go for survival mode. My bathroom.
Perfect for traveling.
Hey, McCready.
Is everything all right?
A collection of armor sets and things from the various expansion packs. Some of you may recognize. There's our railroaders here. Tinker Tom, Desdemona, Glory, Elder Maxon, Kellogg, Rex Tillerson, the Silver Shroud, Recon armor, helmet with robot armor from the Automatron expansion pack. Really, oddly good combination with the Vault-Tec suit. Really good energy resistance. McCready's armor, he's over there, he's fine. Hancock's armor, he's also fine. He's downstairs in a different suit. I didn't kill him. I don't know, is this just an armored lab? Oh, it is just an armored lab coat. It's a lab coat with 110 defense and energy resistance, so it may not look like much, but pretty cool. This belongs to this guy. Abbott Costello? Or Cabot? I can't remember. It's one of the Cabots. It's that guy with the glasses. He's dead. I think this is a Tunnel Snakes outfit. Oh, Zeke's Jean and Jack. This is from the Atomicats. This is because they're friendly. I didn't kill them either. Carcer uniform. The Mechanist uniform from the Automatron expansion pack. I believe this is Father's lab coat. And this is the full Marine Recon armor suit from the Far Harbor expansion pack. It is as close as you can get to having power armor on without having power armor. Pretty impressive. Hi, guys. So all these people in my room, I love it. This is my collection and growing collection, I might add, of comic books. I don't have them all. Looking forward to them. Did get all the bobbleheads, though. And a few odds and ends, including, I believe, yeah, my wedding ring and a few little sentimental items. Okay, so that covers pretty much everything here in Sanctuary, minus the human experimentation labs, which I guess we'll get to now before we leave.
Nothing stays hidden forever.
I hate when Piper says that. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. The human experimentation lab.
You point, I'll shoot.
Well, so this was supposed to have kind of obviously a darker vibe, right? So I'm just gonna... If anybody happened to make it out past the thing that it had to escape these labs, this should kill them. If that doesn't, these lights will turn on, the alarms go off, the turrets activate, bang, bang, bang. So I haven't had anybody escape yet.
Let's get this show on the road.
Piper should not be here with the Vault-Tec sales rep right now. They should not be in this area, other than I assume they are snooping, and they shouldn't be. This rather dark area actually does have two people inside, Gunner in here, I believe Bannon in here, and if I flip the switch here in the back, it will release them into this sealed zone of death,
Nice day today.
where I can test out weaponry and various stuff. Unfortunately, because Piper and the Vault-Tec rep are here, I will not be doing anything of the sort right now. So, and yes, that's a ghoul strapped to a chair, judge me not. I was obviously going for kind of a darker serial killer vibe. I think that's kind of self-explanatory, so. Anyway, let's just, every time I have to explain this to people, I get looks, so we're just going to keep moving. Alright, so that's the basic idea of Sanctuary. And it is a rather impressive build, and the whole idea is obviously to prepare for survival mode, where there will be, you know, you'll need food, the ability to sleep safely. Different beds will have certain amount of hours you can sleep, so if you're using sleeping bags, unfortunately for you, it's probably only like a 4-hour limit. So better beds are good at your settlements. It also raises your happiness level, so be aware of things like that when you're doing your builds. We will cover actually, you know, physical builds where I'm actually doing recordings of the builds. I don't like to generally do that since building some of these stuff is kind of labor intensive and can kind of take a while. So I don't usually like to spend an hour having people watch the videos of how to build this, but if I do get enough interest in something like that, I probably will do an explanation on how to do some of these builds. So a lot of the settlements in the Commonwealth have been retrofitted, as you can imagine, with heavy security and things like that. What I do want to do is I'm going to get away from these settlements. One thing I have recorded and sent out to Bethesda is there is an incredibly bad problem with glitching when it comes to fast traveling and even downloading some of the Creation Club stuff lately. When it comes to dealing with my builds and how much data is being stored in the save files. But I have sent that out to Bethesda. Because as you know, I'm using a PlayStation 4 entertainment system just like everybody else. I'm not using a detachable hard drive or anything like that. This is all on a basic system because I wanted to kind of show that you could do this with just the expansion packs and the basic system. Alright, so I'm going to quick save real quick because I don't like taking any chances. And we're going to be going to one of our other locations. I will take you to the castle at some point, but right now I want to cover actually one of the newer builds, Nordigan Beach. So I actually want to come at Nordigan from a distance and see if we can see it. As we get up close, I've been having some trouble having it load, so I guess we'll go here from Easy City Downs. Should be pretty straightforward. So we're just gonna head from Easy City Downs a little further down the coast to Nordigan Beach. Now, Nordigan Beach is literally a hugely underutilized settlement. When I came across it, if anybody remembers, if you played Fallout, it's literally a family of three, a man, a woman, and their young child, farming on the beach in a small, broken-down shack. I did not like the way that was going, so I had to do some retrofitting. I'm not sure what these guys are shooting at. I'm going to actually avoid combat right now because we got stuff to do. So we're going to head down here. It looks like I can already see some of the back of the base, which is not fully loading right now. So there we go. You're going to start seeing some of Nordigan Beach loading right now. And I'm really actually quite proud of this particular settlement. This is one of the newer ones that literally just got finished, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago. So there will still be obviously retrofitting and stuff like that, but really well designed kind of castle fortification system. And Nordigan Beach has really got a retrofit. Completely surrounded by walls and turret systems. I mean, this place has got incredible amounts of security. Really happy with the way it turned out, but some of the more interesting stuff is how it's turned out. So we're going to go, if anybody remembers this little shack, here we go. This is Nordigan Beach. But it's obviously been retrofitted, and we've put a lot here that was not here originally, just using the, as I said, the expansion pack. No mods, just the expansion pack. So, this is kind of a dark area. It's actually got a large roof over it. I haven't put any lighting in there yet, so I will eventually probably put some lighting in here, trying to lighten it up. But here on the back side of the beach, there's a large, thick wall. We got an outer wall actually covering the back side of the beach, so nothing's coming up here, no mireless, nothing like that. And then all these water pumps, which are literally almost too narrow to get by into these areas, are filling almost every square spot we can. I did put in lots of little security measures. Nordigan Beach has been attacked once. We did actually have super mutants actually teleport into the center of the city somehow. They only killed a Brahmin. I'm not happy we lost a Brahmin at all, but they did only kill a Brahmin, so not too bad, I guess. They didn't even destroy really any of the crops and stuff. The Brahmin was back here. Boy, they really all came back here and messed that poor cow up. Okay, so this had a lot of different security features. Obviously, a lot of implementation of the electronic sliding doors and locks, and even going out here to the beach and stuff. This doesn't lead immediately out to the beach. I didn't want any people accidentally wandering in or anything like that. So I like the idea of double thick walls generally. I also, if you'll notice in a lot of my builds, you'll notice a lot of buildings have the whole kind of idea of being relatively thin and narrow at some of the lower points, and then building off, expanding into upper levels. A lot of those do that so that I could utilize farming and stuff on the ground without having to put a whole bunch of plots of fertilizer around. So, as you can see, we got a fully functional society here. It looks like everybody's after hours, so they're all relaxing at the soda fountain over there. That is available through the Nuka-Cola expansion pack. Or, sorry, not Nuka-Cola, it's Vault Tech. Be careful how you build it, because you will actually have different designs available. I went for a full happiness build on the soda machine. I keep saying Nuka-Cola, and that really worked out well. I put that at a lot of settlements, and it really raises the happiness level. So, I like to keep a lot of different security measures on hand at all of these bases, in case, you know, obviously for survival mode and stuff like that. But what I do want to cover here in a second is the tower. Really proud of the tower. That was a fun little build, seeing kind of like how big I could build a building, how tall I could go. So obviously the security the security here is incredibly high. I can't imagine taking a lot of damage really from any points. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens when a vertibird flies overhead, because the barrage is just incredible. You know, there's nothing quite like seeing, you know, like 70 or 80 rockets flying out in a couple seconds.
Feet hurt.
Really fun.
Everything hurts.
Okay, so
Yeah?
we're going to cover some of the tower here in a second. I guess just over here lastly is another security checkpoint for the outer area and the robotic guard. So you can never have too much, in my opinion. Oh, actually, I should mention this. If some of you were wondering how I got so much stuff, or room to build, because if you'll look, I'm going to pull up my craft menu. In the upper right-hand corner, it says size right there, right? And size is always an issue. You're always pushing your size limit. You probably don't have the ability right now to build a base this size, right? Okay, so there's a trick. When you get items, okay, oh, here we go. Here's a telephone. Perfect. So when you get a telephone or something like that, you can obviously just throw those items. A lot of people throw those items directly in your workshop. This does not help you, no. What you need to do, literally, as labor-intensive as it is go to your junk, drop it on the ground here inside of your workshop, go to workshop mode. So I'm going to push my PlayStation button in the middle, and hit square to scrap, scrap, scrap. Every time I scrap, this actually reduces the amount of size and gives me more room to build. That's how I got all the size I have to build these things. So in order to keep expanding your size, or leveling it up, so to speak, you have to keep dropping items on the ground, guns, whatever it is you find, and scrap them here at the base to increase its range. So just keep in mind, if you're having trouble not having enough size when it comes to your builds, be sure to start scrapping your stuff, okay? Okay, so here is the tower. I kind of made it as kind of this like tourist destination. Wiring that was fun. Can you imagine? It's so simple right now, but wiring it so the lighting shut off and not all the lighting shut off. Oh, that was fun. Okay, so got a lot of advertisements up here. I like that. Did build living quarters, obviously inside the tower, because obviously now that it's not a tourist destination, I can only imagine people would be utilizing it as kind of a living area. Kind of clean. I do like the whole like Vault Tech nod to this being kind of a military thing, obviously. Did put a bathroom obviously up at the top too, just as a touristy thing. I had windows in here originally all around this area to let you look out. I didn't like how it worked with the build. The radiation storms at this high just were ridiculous. So I ended up creating this kind of outer plateau and patio. It is one heck of a drop. So I did, you know, end up putting it over the ocean just so there was a nice view. I gotta say, this is probably one of the tallest buildings I've actually built. I love the view. I love having a sniper rifle and just being able to shoot down, you know, at all these locations and stuff, you know, from the airport. Fort Strong, I don't think I can hit anything over there. I think my bullet range ends about there, honestly. But we got Spectacle Island out there, and the castle, and that's Warwick Homestead way over there, if you can see that. And up the coast here, it's all pointed out right there on the coast, is actually one of my other bases, the Lighthouse. And I can't really clearly see. I believe that's actually Parsons Asylum way back there. That's not one of my bases, but anyway, that's all I can see from here. But kind of interesting stuff. I gotta say, this was literally just a nightmare to build. I had to build scaffolding and wood on the outside of the buildings at different points to make sure that you know, it didn't fall off when constructing the tower. It was fun. In short, it was really quite fun. Okay, so one of the last things we're going to go do is I do want to head towards the castle before we wrap this broadcast up. I do like to try and keep my broadcast down to about an hour so you guys don't have to sit here and waste too much time watching these videos. Okay. Now, we are going to try and fast travel. I'm going to quick save again because, as I said before, I've complained to Bethesda about this many times. But as you can imagine, having bases like this and trying to pull the data all at once tends to crash the game. So, even though this software was made to kind of function like this, it was all built officially, doesn't always work together in tandem as well as I think Bethesda and ZeniMax had hoped. So, okay, we're going to try and get to the castle. Again, I think I'll actually teleport nearby. Probably smarter. So obviously in survival mode, this isn't that big a deal because you're not going to be able to fast travel in survival mode. In survival mode, your bullets have weight. Some of your miscellaneous items that you didn't know before will have weight, so you need to be careful over, overdue books and stuff like that. Book return tokens, just weird things. So it's something to keep an eye out because all of a sudden you'll go to survival mode and all of a sudden you'll find out that you weigh 800 pounds and you'll be like, why? And you'll find out it's because you're carrying like 20 missiles and some some nukes or whatever, mini nukes on you, and all of a sudden you can't move. So, and in survival mode, I would like to also mention that if you go overweight, not only are you not moving anywhere, but you are not. What's going on here? There we go. You're actually taking damage. Sorry. Yay for the big leaguer perk, right? Okay. So let's see if we can find a way out of this area. That'll work. So I think if I can make it to the castle, we will end the broadcast most likely with a fireworks display because that's always fun. And we'll cover how to get these builds done and what you need to do. Okay, I'm going to take my time. Alright, so we're going to walk up to the castle. The castle is another one of those proud builds, I gotta say. It worked out really well. High security. Really defensible position. Don't worry, that's one of mine.
Identity confirmed. This unit is ready to serve.
Actually, I'll be back later.
Systems returning to standby mode.
So as you can see, as we're coming up on the castle, this is a large retrofit on the castle. So if anybody remembers the castle, if you've played this far into Fallout and you and Preston Garvey have taken the castle, well, I definitely retrofitted it so it was a defensible position. So obviously this is my version of the castle. Alright, let's start activating some of the security systems so I can show you what this baby can do. This is literally just a guard post, as you can imagine. Real simple, real basic, real straightforward. I wanted a guard post before people hit the main gate. So let's find... here we are. That should turn on floodlights. So this gives floodlights all around this building, which is just kind of fun. And this does raise my defense level +2 for every light that's active right now. So fun little boost to defense and stuff, not to mention really lighting up the outer area. I'll eventually get up there and I'll turn on the security system for the castle itself as well. I'm going to light this thing up. Don't worry, another one of my security units, not a big deal.
This unit is ready to serve.
Actually,
So,
I'll be back later.
the security units you're going to see around are actually a combination of sentry bot units with assaultron legs for high-speed engagement. I really do like kind of combining the two, and he's got laser Gatling guns, kind of a nasty combo, and rocket launchers in the back. Just love that. Okay, so this is the entryway to the sanctuary. I have security checkpoints quite literally everywhere. That's one of the ghoul chairs. I do keep
Easy living, this
security
ain't.
guards on hand. These gates do all lock down, so I can actually lock down the gate right down below us using this stuff. I've had one full assault engagement, so for those of you that beat the game and did not side with the Brotherhood of Steel, you may notice at some point the Brotherhood of Steel actually does attack you in full force here at the castle. I literally stood on the parapets and watched like 8 guys in power armor, and I want to say like 12, I don't know, 12 regular soldiers literally just get torn to bits by the defense system. So this is the castle. The castle has everything anybody needs, and probably one of the highest security areas of any place. Every entryway has a laser tripwire system to notify me if any hostiles come in. Every single door locks down, which I can do from a centralized grid. Everything is sealed. Even the doors that go to the upstairs or whatever, so let you out into the outer area, these are all sealed off with concrete as well. Wiring this was, as you can imagine, quite fun. Did get all the stores fit into these narrow corridors. That was kind of fun, getting the clinics and bars and all that stuff in here. But I did get it. Each one of these areas turned out to be a small business. It's probably a pretty impressive weaponry there, I'm guessing. You know, got the bunks, got all that stuff. Did have to build
put this back together.
some other things. I built a housing barracks and stuff off to the corner. I'll show you in a minute. But where's my room? I passed it. Here it is. So, for those of you that have the general's room and have been utilizing the room for the Minutemen, you'll know there is a back door that goes down to the army, leads out the other side. I could not stand the idea of leaving that unsecured, so I did actually build an electronic security grid inside my room just to seal that off. Concrete's great for builds. Okay, we got about 12 minutes left before we're going to wrap up this broadcast. Okay, and obviously you're going to guess right now, I do love having robotic security. So,
Actually, I'll be back later.
You will notice a lot of robots around doing the security work that the humans aren't doing, because I like to have the robots doing the security stuff. I will note that in survival mode, and also actually even in normal mode, your robots can get destroyed by enemies. They are not like the human NPCs that will get downed and wounded and get back up. Your robot companions will die unless they are actually running along with you as companions. If they're running along with you as companions, you can repair them with robot repair kits, but when they are being assigned to duties like this, they are destroyable, so just kind of note that. This is the lower barracks area here, and that's actually a back security door that leads to the submarine and shipping bay, which we'll get to in a minute. This is the officers' quarters, which obviously separated into a little fancier kind of sub-apartments for some of the officers here. And I would say this guy's pretty clearly a child of Adam cultist, but we'll get to that later. Alright, just some simple little apartments and stuff. I still need to finish putting the pool table together. I need to get all the pool balls and put that in there. But, one thing at a time, right? Okay, and this is the back loading dock area, which leads to some of the security fencing, which we actually have along the water. We got areas for storage, things like that. This is obviously for docking boats or anything like that. And these high security areas, as you can imagine, are... I can't imagine trying to run through here, honestly, as an enemy. It would be quite literally impossible to, I assume, even get close to half of the perimeter in the first place, but I do always enjoy trying to pick a fight and having people try. It's always fun. Alright. So we will be ending with the fireworks display once we finish our tour. Oh, but I do need to activate the electronic security grid. So a lot of the parts of the tower that were open sections of wall, I literally used those open sections, as you can see, built around them and then kind of expanded out the areas. So I really wanted to utilize a lot of what was available for the build here. Let's go to the upper perimeter areas here. Okay, and this is where our fireworks stuff is actually going to be here in a little bit. We're going to wait for the sun to go down. I should probably check the time. 7:52 a.m. Boy, that's not going to work for me. So at some point I'll probably be kind of have my character go to sleep for a second. It's not a big deal. Okay, but I do want to find where is the switches.
Ain't looking for trouble, I hope.
No, this will work. And that should activate lighting, flood lighting all over the base. It would look a lot more impressive if it was nighttime, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go find somewhere to lay down or nap or something for a second. No, I can turn on the lighting off for a second.
Never changes.
So as you can see, I put a lot of artillery and stuff around these outer edges, kind of covering the defensive system. I really did not want unwanted guests. I believe there's a checkpoint here. That'll work. Alright. And you gotta have your checkpoints, right? So I'm going to just wait for a few more hours because we're going to be wrapping up this broadcast in like 8 more minutes. How an hour flies. Okay. I'm not impatient, but I'm just saying this is taking a long time, right? Whatever. I feel like it should be playing the Jeopardy music. Like I know distinctively that it takes a long time to load my base and move everybody around it and all that stuff. But come on. Yes, I'll be complaining about this load time like every 10 seconds or so, because it's bull. Still waiting. We're still waiting. Good lord. Getting closer to night. I can see it getting dark. Hey, alright. Okay, so let's see here. We do want to get the lighting back up, and we're going to get ready for our little fireworks display. I have no idea what expansion pack it was that gave me fireworks, but I recently I've seen them there the whole time. I just really didn't use them, so now I really want to use them. Really, it glitched. Oh, I hate when it does this. It's going to bug me. Hold on. It's not a party unless the lights are working properly. There we go. Now see, that is just fun. I love this. Like, literally, I cannot imagine there even being a mole rat coming up here without getting spotted along the outer wall. And these lights, they stretch all along the perimeter. It's a little checkpoint outside, but I mean, literally, these lights are just everywhere, just lighting up everything. I actually really quite enjoy it. I almost want someone to try and break in here again. Okay. I see we're coming up on about 5 minutes left. Alright. Oh, note to self. Ronnie Shaw, if you do build a weapon station here, Ronnie no longer sells weaponry. Ronnie will sell weaponry to you, even if you haven't built a weapon station here, but as soon as you put in somebody working at the weapon station, Ronnie will stop selling stuff to you. The only reason that's important is Ronnie has a rare one-of-a-kind weapon, a Gauss rifle known as the Last Minute, which does plus 50% damage, so make sure you buy that weapon from Ronnie Shaw before you start building your expansion stuff. Okay. Boy, it's like leaking rust on my concrete walls. That's alright. Oh, Preston, you look absolutely ridiculous as a general. No matter. Alright. We're about the 5-minute mark. I'm not sure how long this will take, but we'll be ending the broadcast with this, so. Let the fireworks start. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. Always fun. See you next time.